and this is the June Nutrition Coordinators meeting on June 5th, 2024. And so, yeah, we'll welcome everybody, and we'll kind of get started. We'll do our just typical, usual roundabout here. Hasn't been a long time since our last meeting, which is okay, but it's, being summer, people are out, and there's a lot of people who may be on vacation or planning vacation. So, with June, July, and August, it's, people are here and there and everywhere. So, but we'll go ahead and get started. What we'll usually do is we'll just start with one of the area agencies and tell us kind of what's been going on in your area. If you have anything new coming up, any challenges, the farmers market coupon program is now in full effect. If you have any questions on that or anything that we need to get solved, I have a notepad here to write down any requests or questions you may have. As far as with the SUA, I guess our only news is we're going to be moving down to 4th floor maybe next week. So moving from 6th to 4th floor. So we're not going anywhere, just a new floor. And that's about it for that. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. And well, Carmen, I think you were the first on. I believe so. Do you want to get us started?
Okay, so am I the only one on, Eric?
Well, you were the first one on, so I just went by who I
I'm the
saw
first one on.
first.
Okay.
I saw, yeah, I
Um,
saw you first. I was like, yeah, Carmen. She's
we really don't have a ton of things going on. Well, we always have a ton of things going on. Farmers market's still in uh, coupons are still going out. Hopefully, we haven't had any use before June 1st, as is the such with the last time. Other than that, we've got the elder abuse this month that we're going to be working with. We had a great employee training last Thursday. There was very few that could not attend. And we talked about things like we had an APS presenter there. We had suicide prevention there talking. What else did we have? Actually, the one that people liked the most was, which is kind of interesting, was the gentleman from our local law enforcement office got up and spoke on how to keep yourself safe, possibly in your work environment. Now, just on a hint of a little humor here, I don't think I'm going to have to worry about myself too much handing out farmers market coupons, but you never know when you get that disgruntled senior that you might need to diffuse. So anyway, that went over very well. Everybody was really interested in that. We met out at the Southeast Community College here in Beatrice, and it was a great turnout. So we felt that was great for the organization as a whole. We will be, like I said, doing Elder Abuse Awareness Month this month with the purple pinwheels. Those have all gone out to all of our centers. Then the first part of July, we're working on a capital campaign to celebrate our 50 years in Blue Rivers. Everyone got a t-shirt with a gold 50 on it and all of our services on the back. So everybody was excited to get those and wear those and be a part of things. Other than that, I think that's about all I have for right now.
That's awesome. Well, that's great work with the Elder Abuse Day, World Elder Abuse Day activities, and that's some great information too, especially just for being cautious and aware of that and all the events that go through it. So that's awesome. Very good update. Any questions for Carmen? Awesome. If not, we can move on to, I believe I saw Rachel next. Rachel at Midland.
Well, you'll never guess what I've been doing this month. Farmers market coupons. So I've gotten 3 counties done, so I still got 5 left. So I'll be doing that over the next week or 2. And then I've been doing contracts with vendors for the new fiscal year. We had some staffing changes in one of our larger counties. And so I had 2 employees leave, and so we've had to be doing interviews and getting those positions filled back up. And so now I'm doing training with those folks, and I have people going on vacation, so I'm covering vacations, and just a lot. It's June is always, I think, the busiest month of my year. Not that any are not busy, but I think June is just peak busy.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Well, it is, and then it's a combination of all that stuff, farmers market, everything, and then people also on vacation, so yeah, doesn't help.
But I do gotta say, so I went on the nutrition, that website.
Oh, the resource center? Yeah.
Yes. And so it's kind of like social media. You get in there and you just go down these odd, crazy wormholes. And I was just looking for some nutrition ed to hand out with farmers market coupons and give a little talk on. And there were 2 great ones. I'll email them out to everybody. One was how to cut recipes into half or a third. And they just absolutely loved that information, because we had talked about how you don't want to eat spaghetti for an entire week just because you thawed a pound of hamburger. So we just, people came up with ideas of what you could do, and that was their favorite. And then the other one I found was, if you have a power outage, how long your stuff is good for in your freezer. And I had lost power twice with the last few storms that we had to go out. So I just was like, oh, that's kind of interesting information. Don't know if I should have kept that stuff or not, but so I handed out that, but I really think that cutting the recipe one was so well accepted by everybody, and they just loved the information. So I will attach that to everybody.
That's great. Thank you so much for providing that. It is kind of like going down a rabbit hole, and they have so much information that's within clicks, and then you find that you're like, oh, this is really good, because they do have so much stuff. They've done a really good job of
and
putting
then
that
you don't remember how to
together.
get back there.
Uh-huh.
That's where
Yeah,
I
you
really
don't. You must have to bookmark it almost, because it's so within. But no, that's good, especially the freezer thing, with it being so hot this summer. If power outages go out, food can go bad. Another thing they could do is, there's a little trick too. You can take an ice cube and put it in a little plastic container, and if the power goes out and you're not aware of it, and the temperature dips below it, it'll start to melt or defrost. And then, if you look at it again, it's perfectly intact. And the temperature has remained, within that freezing point. Or if it's
Right.
melted and then refroze, then it's a puddle. If you have a frozen puddle, you're like,
Right.
Food may not be good. Yeah, or the portion sizes, that's a great too, because a lot of people just they don't eat as much. So, hey, that's great. That's terrific. Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Midland? All right. If not, moving on to Northeast.
I think for farmers market coupons are the ones that the agency are all spoken for already. We did hand them out to all the senior centers. I'm not for sure where they're at exactly on handing those out. But pretty close, I think, to being done. For senior centers, we sent out all the contracts for the new fiscal year, slowly getting those back. We are working on adding to our B services with senior centers. We have our O'Neill, our senior center closed last year, so we started contracting with the assisted living there, and so they are now actually going to start B services as well there, so that's kind of nice. And we had Laurel back up and going. They were closed due to COVID and been closed for a couple of years now, and they started back up in April. Other than that, We just had a couple turnover at some new managers coming on. A couple senior centers struggling financially, but we're working with them. I have 2 questions to pose to the group. So Eric, would you like me to ask now or would you like me to ask later?
Well, we'll
We
wait
can
till
do
the
a
end.
round and then
Okay, we'll wait till the end, but yeah, yeah, just hold on to those and perfect. Okay, thank you so much. Anything else for Northeast right now, and then we'll come back to your question.
nope, not at all. Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Kayla, what kind of
All-
services are you doing? Are you starting at the senior centers?
So actually all of our centers do information and assistance, nutrition education, health activities, social activities, senior center hours, and technology and equipment. So we contract with most of our senior centers to do those services. And we reimburse them on a per unit rate.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. All right, how about Angie, West Central?
Good afternoon. We got all the farmer market coupons out to all the centers and the sites. I don't believe anyone has held a enrollment yet for those coupons. We just got them out the last 2 weeks, of course. Most of them will start up this month in June. Most of our farmer market coupons won't. I think the market here opened up this last weekend, but most of them don't open up till July around here. So the ladies at the centers and the meal sites, they all have time to get these out. Everything else is going pretty good. We're just wrapping a few things up. Jumped on this meeting a little late. We're getting ready for the Golden Games here next week for the Nebraska Land Days. So anybody wants to take a road trip, bring their seniors over, bring them in. So it'll be a fun day for a little outing. But yeah, we're just plugging away here.
Very good. Well, that is excellent. Very good. Awesome, Angie. Thank you so much. Any questions for Angie, West Central? Thank you so much. Move on to Jill, Aging Partners.
Things have been going well here. Obviously, like everyone else said, farmers market clinics are in full swing. Right now, I have about a 50-person wait list, and I'm continuing to get calls. I think I've gotten like 8 calls today so far. So that continues to grow. We are getting ready for our county board visits. So this is in relation to our subawards with our county programs. And we basically go into the commissioners and present the services that's been provided. And that's when also we present their match to the program. So that's been good. We've done one so far and we have the rest coming up later this month. I'm going to the US Aging Conference next month in Tampa. So I'm excited to
Nice.
kind of see, I know, I'm excited to see they have some really good presenters and topics. So that will be good information to come back and share and go over that with. We recently distributed the Files of Life to all of our counties. If you don't know, it's like a little card, a magnetic card that folks can put on the refrigerator, and in the event of an EMT or first medical services coming in, it has information on what medications they're on. That's gone over really, really well. I think Fillmore County has distributed close to 70 of those so far, and it's been really positively received. So that's been good. I've been recently digging into the home delivered meal prioritization from the ACL. There's a couple different examples that they give on. So we are really working through that, and reached out to Department of Maryland, I think, is one of the home delivered meal prioritizations that they provided through the ACL website, and got the Excel worksheet. So that's in discussions and beginning stages of implementation. Meals are going good. Home delivered meals, congregate meals, those are all staying pretty steady. So we're pretty status quo on that.
Awesome. That's exciting. Very good. Yeah, that'd be great to see stuff from the conference, and that sounds like a fun trip, and very good. Awesome. Any questions for Jill at Aging Partners? All right. Let's see here. We have, I see Caitlin from Enowa, and what about Allison? Allison or Caitlin, either one.
Hi, everyone. Allison is on her way back from Corrigan. She's been cleaning up, getting things ready since we closed last week.
Yeah.
So she said she.
Oh. I think we almost lost you there, Caitlin.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was cutting out a little bit.
For home delivered system, we have a live site as of this weekend, so that's very exciting. We are sending out flyers to sign up clients for the 4th of July. We're also going to close July 5th for home delivered as well, because it's going to be difficult to try to get meals out with so many people that want the time off. So we're closing for both days, with the frozen meal sign up for both of those days. Allison and attending staging, so we'll see you there. And then I am going to the Meals on Wheels America conference again in August.
Oh, very nice. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Where is it this year?
This
I'm sorry, hold on, you're cutting out there again. What did you say it was? This is the microphone is just okay. Hold on, say it one more time.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, gotcha. Very cool. Awesome. Oh, yeah, going to conferences, Tampa, Baltimore. Very nice. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the update. Any questions for Caitlin at Enowa? Thank you so much. All right. Let's see here. Do I have Samantha? I don't think I have Samantha from my own. I don't think I have her. I think I had a note from her. What about Sue? Are you Sue, the 308 number?
Yep.
Oh, there you are. Hello.
Oh, okay. Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because it seemed like I don't know if it's my phone or if it's been the network here, but it seemed like a lot of the reports were really cut out to me. I couldn't hear too much, but we're busy here like everybody. It's just, working. I mean, it's report time, so we have to get everything handled before, well, probably have it done by tomorrow. And then farmers market, they arrived so promptly this year, which was nice. And then gotten them out to our care managers, mid-waiver people, and to our centers. And then I do some of the senior centers myself, as well as the part, I have our calls. Believe me, we got gigantic lists. So I'll be working on those next week. Although I did do some in Mendon today, because I'm doing a blood pressure class in Mendon, and so that's going well. And a lot of those same people were ones who had received the vouchers in the past, so they were very excited for that. I hope to get out and visit the centers more after these vouchers get done, but we've been busy working with the Heart Association. We have 4 blood pressure hubs that are in business functioning, and we have plans for 4 more. So that's exciting news. Then we kind of asked if she wanted to continue in our area, and she said she would see at that time when we were done doing another 4, what else was on the plate. So whether maybe she'll have another project or some other idea for, I don't know if it'll be for us, but for somebody, you know. So we're very blessed to have getting the hubs. So we have them in Kearney, Ravenna, Elma, and Loop City, and you know they really do get used. It's just a good benefit for our rural communities. And then our plans are Holdridge, Mendon, Ord, and Broken Bow will be the next four she has on the list. So we're very, you know, feel very blessed for that. Other than that, just, you know, just trying to get things handled. It seems like I've been off on a few calls. I don't know if I've been traveling or just, you know, doing the blood pressure classes, or we had that call with the Heart Association the last time. So, but just like everybody, keeping busy. And Rachel, thank you for sending that stuff out in advance. That'll be nice. I do have a consumer's guide to food safety that was put out from USDA years ago. She sent me so many of them, but I don't think any of that information really ever changes as far as, you know, the time frame, and it says when to save, when to throw out, and I think it was download the Food Keeper app, you know, but I'm not sure if any of this stuff is so old, so I'm not sure if any of it's current, but I kept, you know, the brochures just because it's good. It also talks about safety of drinking water if flooding occurs. And, you know, we've had, like everybody, there's Omaha had that bad, you know, floodings thing for a bit. And then Palmer, St. Paul, oh, I can't think of the other little town, you know, they got some bad flooding from all the rain. So just been, you know, weather's crazy. But that's about it. Just trying to, you know, keep afloat, do the best we can.
Awesome. That sounds great. So, and I know with the blood pressure hubs, and that's just with that certain area that you have with that health department, you know, well, with the American Heart Association there and that certain area. And I know, you know, I think thinking overall big picture, yeah, the blood pressure hubs are such a good, easy, they seem relatively easy to set up. I mean, the last time I was there, we were at the Peterson Center and I saw that one, which is a really nice one that had a more sophisticated blood pressure cuff. That was an actual machine where, you know, it was a nice one. But
And it's validated, of course, you know, you have to
right,
have
right.
those kind.
And so do you have, okay, so does the blood pressure hub, is it required to have that specific one? You can't just have a sleeve, just a
You
cuff
could have
sleeve.
a sleeve, but you know what? You have to have somebody
Yeah.
there to put it around, and
Right.
they don't really, the Heart Association, she doesn't like that. You
Okay.
know, she thinks that it ought to be
Yeah.
people to do it themselves. And I said, you know, we tried here. It's not easy for us to do it,
Yeah.
you know, at
Right.
my age and a lot younger, you know, it's not easy to get that on. And so
Yeah.
Ravenna does have the one that, you know, has that stationary thing that, you know, you see
Hmm.
the printing and it'll do a printout too. But it doesn't have, you know, it's not like the rest of our area. We just didn't get enough money. And that's when I
Hmm.
told her we needed more money, that you sit down and you put your arm in there and your elbow fits into that little spot there. And there
Hmm.
is directions, but you know, they're all validated and very nice. I think people are more apt to use those like in our
Hmm.
other area, you know, because then they don't have to bother anybody.
Right.
They
That's
can
true.
go
Yeah.
in, they can go in every day. They can go in, you know, if their reading is not good, you know, and we all the protocol is all documented, all written down. Tell them that, you know, they need to not talk, they need to relax, use the restroom, you know, that, and you know, there's a protocol that we want the people to follow, and it is, you know, we have stuff that is all printed out posters kind of like, and then framed too, you know, and then we also have the educational handouts, you know, if they would have issues or if it would not be good, you know, then we have the medical protocol that we
Hmm.
have the people do. But you know, it's just nice, they can just go in and get it done, and they're accurate. I've heard lately that the only complaint I ever heard, and it was from one man that was mad that the time wasn't exact on that because, you know, it was daylight savings time and things got changed, and that they
Yeah.
didn't change that. And I just thought, you know, he
Yeah.
actually, Eric, I think you heard from him before. He's the only one in all my years that called to complain he didn't get his coupons yet.
Oh,
That was a couple of years. Yeah, he called about the time. But anyway, I told him, well, I would talk to them about it and see if they could get that handled. If not, I told him just write the time down, about an
Yeah,
hour
when you had
earlier
it
or hour
done.
later. But anyway, it's been nice because people off the street, I mean anywhere, people that don't even maybe eat at the center just come in for the blood pressure hub, and that's what's been nice about it. Because some of the small towns, they don't have like a they definitely don't have a hospital, and some of them do have clinics, some of them don't, and it's just a good thing for them
Hmm.
to be able to go ahead and get that checked, because it is a silent killer.
Well,
It's just been,
well
we've
the
been
thing.
very
Yeah,
blessed for this.
yeah.
So
And that was the thing I was thinking about overall is like, people have blood pressure clinics, where everybody comes in and they get it done. But the nice thing about this, and I had thought about it when you guys were doing this, was this is like sort of a permanent thing where someone can go no matter the day of the week, they can go get that
mhm.
done, especially if they're on a new medication. If you go on a new medication, you need to monitor your blood pressure, and they're like, oh, in order to do this, I got to go buy one. I'm not sure how accurate it is, and I need someone to maybe help me with it, or I have to do it myself. I guess with that one at the senior center, that's nice because it's consistent, it's an accurate machine, and and you can do it anytime, any day of the week that they're open. I think that was the biggest thing. So I thought, well, that's such a neat thing, and if other places could replicate kind of what you're doing in that area, that would be neat because that's so handy. I don't know,
And
but
it's simple,
anyways,
so simple.
yeah.
Some of them get a little leery, and it also shows your pulse rate.
Hmm.
And I did hear that several people said it was just about the same when they went into their doctor. And I said, well, that's good, because that's what this is all about. We want it validated, and we want, if there is an issue, and nobody's had any issues so far. Some of them have been a little high, and then some of them haven't, but I think they've been anxious. So
That's
um,
good.
it's just been, it's been a fun, neat project for South Central, and really for anybody. I mean, it's just nice to have that, because, gosh, you're not really feeling the best. Is my blood pressure too low? Is it too high? They're wondering. So, they can come get that checked and not have to run to the clinic, or if they have clinics there, or, to a hospital. And, not that we don't want them to get checked out anyway, but it's the whole idea, that gives them a little reassurance if they do have, blood pressure issues. And some people don't even know they have they might be way low, or they might be too high, and they didn't, weren't aware of that. So it's just been just a neat project that, I'm happy that she's expanding somewhat in our area. I don't know how much more she'll do after we get done with the others, but we're thankful for what we can get.
Well, very good. Yeah, and that's really good. Well, thank you again for sharing that. And if anybody has questions, ask Sue about blood pressure hubs. I think it's just it is a neat model to follow. So awesome. Well, very good. Well, thank you again.
Thank you
And
kindly. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
anybody have any other questions? Okay. Well, we'll circle back to Kayla at Northeast. If you want to go ahead and.
Yes. So my one question is it appropriate for a provider to deny a home delivered meal because the individual won't fill out a demographic?
Okay, so if they're not filling out like
The intake form, we call them demographics here, the intake
right,
form with
right.
just name, date of birth, address, the NSI.
So they're not gonna fill out like any of it at all?
It sounds like they can't, no, not really. They're working with another provider, a service in town that works with this individual, but they're not getting a great response. So they don't have a demographic or an intake form at the moment, so they stopped doing home delivered meals to this individual.
So I think with that, I believe. So, well, first of all, there's a period of time where you can call and get home delivered meals for an individual without the intake. Whether you're starting something and then they want to try to get that completed and whatnot. So I guess it would depend on the circumstances in this situation. If somebody, I mean, obviously, if somebody's eligible, they should receive the meal according to the Older Americans Act, and that, you know, just to be providing the service to an actual eligible individual. I guess the only thing really that would negate that whole thing is if they weren't 60 and they were receiving an OAA meal. I mean, if you whittle it all the way down to the very, very bone, you know, it would just mean that if, if it's going to somebody who's, you know, 58 and,
Mhm.
you know, and they're getting an OAA meal, yeah, then, you know,
No, this
that's,
individual is
yeah.
over 60.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's the hard thing, and that, you know, you could, and I think we had talked about that a long time ago with giving. It's kind of like somebody who wants to come in and they just don't want to give their name because of something, because of some reason, you know. There could be a lot of different reasons, you know. It could be even a mental health reason, you know. And so, you know, if they wanted to give, if they had like an alias or a name that they wanted to at least use so that it counted, it's in the system and whatever. Um, I mean, bottom line, as long as they're eligible, really, it's only benefiting them if they fill out the intake form and give you more information. They can give you more, you know, reason to give them more services and help them out. You know, that's the most beneficial thing that they could do to help you help them. But I mean, bottom line, if they're eligible in that sense, there's nothing that says in the Older Americans Act or ACL guidance that they could not. But yeah, it's still a pain because it's like, you know, it's like we want to try to get information so we can provide better
provide more
services
service.
for
Yep.
you. Yeah, and that's what that's for. And that's why they're different all over the country. They're, you know, intake forms are different from one state to another, from one AAA to another. Some of them include more information, some of them include less information. Some of them use the NSI nutrition score tool. Some of them use the MST, the malnutrition screen tool. So it's just, they kind of differ all over the place. Or if you had somebody who didn't want to be identified because of some reason, you know, that could be a thing. I don't know. I'll open it up to everybody else. That's just my response off the top of my head.
I don't wonder if there's like a lack of communication between the senior center and this individual, because this individual was on, I think, SSAD meal program. She got taken off, I'm guessing due to income or some sort
Okay.
of, or maybe not filling out paperwork. I don't know. And so then she became eligible for the OAA meals through the senior center since it wasn't getting reimbursed through DHHS. Yeah.
Okay.
So when I have people that are kind of, because you have the people, I don't want my information out there, even though it's not their social, it's not, you know, in my head, things that are important, but to them it is. And so sometimes I, you know, I'm like, okay, so in order to receive this meal, I have to have this bare minimum. You know, I just get the names, the address, and then I kind of do the rest of it just through conversation.
Okay.
And so, you know, when you're doing that home delivered meal assessment, you're like, oh, so why are you needing these meals? And they're like, oh, well, I just don't eat but one meal a day. You know, they end up answering so many of those questions without, but you also have to have the skill to be able to get those questions out of them in a conversational manner. And so, and not everybody does. Some of my site supervisors are just like, I can read it and you can give me the answers and that's all I can do.
Yep.
I mean, there's some that you just end up knowing as you're having the conversation with them. So I minus the emergency contact, that is also something I require they give me, because if something were to happen to them, I want someone to be able to call.
Mhm.
And so you just end up kind of filling it in as you're doing it, I guess.
And it could be, you brought up a good point. It could be this site manager's approach on some of this. I will admit that. And
Yeah, for certain. There could be just some miscommunication there or something, or I mean, paperwork can be intimidating, you know, it can be. And, you know, when you think about it, if somebody goes to a congregate meal center, as opposed to home delivered meal place, if they just went there that one day and didn't even fill out an intake form, you know, and just sign their name, check the box, you know, I mean, that's literally all they're giving. And then they went to a different town or something like that's, you know, I mean, the intake form is to get information in order to, you know, be able to help them with other things and to know the demographics and know what's going on. But yeah, it's just it's hard because when they don't want to give you information too. And I think we talked about that. I believe I remember when Amy was here, she had different things that she was thinking about with Pure Place, and like, what if this information wasn't given, or what if this information wasn't given? You know, well, can we do with a first and last name, a date of birth, and a zip code, at least for some of these other things? Or can we do like a guest name, sort of like Mickey Mouse or something? I don't know, you know, just something that's you can enter in as a unit, as a person, even if that's not
if you're
given.
able to enter in guest meals, so we're able to enter
Yeah.
in guest meals in Pure Place.
Right. Yeah. Yep. And it's just making sure that, yeah, and counting that as this as a unit. But it's just, yeah, if they won't give you their name, they're really adamant about not giving their name.
We got a name, we just don't have any other information.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it depends on the degree
Yeah.
of that. So.
Have they been taking a while, and have you had to do the home delivered assessment with them or any confirmation sheets? Do they fill them out for you?
Well, that's so first of all, to background information, our senior centers are responsible for all the demographic intake and the home delivered meal assessments. We as the agency do not do that. But that leads into my next question. On the home delivered meal assessments, in our home delivered meal policy, we have preference given to individuals who are residing in rural areas, which is about 97-ish% of our territory. So practically everyone but anyone in like South Sioux area qualifies for a home delivered meal in our area. So I'm making the assumption, I don't like to assume anything, but I'm making the assumption the senior center does have a home delivered meal assessment on them. Because we do require that, and Lori goes out and checks that when she does her program monitoring. But that's my next question is there any way we can have a like blanket home delivered meal assessment for all the areas that are considered rural?
So you want like a form, like a
I got a form, but
Oh,
like
okay.
I said, about everyone but South Sioux City, maybe Emerson and Hardington, I'd have to look at the map, all are rural in our area.
Right.
So according to the policy, everyone qualifies.
Okay, so you're thinking about a home delivered meal form that would just be consistent across all
It's
areas.
just like do our
Yeah.
centers have to do one in those areas that are considered rural already?
Would is it okay if I just
Yep.
offer a
I'm
suggestion?
just, yeah.
Thinking.
I mean, I'm just thinking too, and I don't know, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I don't know how you put this down on paper or quantify it specifically, but I mean, part of the deal should be that it's not just a black and white, you're rural or you're not rural. It's who is the most rural and who is the most isolated. You know what I mean? So like priority would be given to people who are in the most rural areas or who have access to the least amount of resources. And I mean, I get that one way of defining that is to say, like, who is technically by definition rural and who's not, but part of it, would probably come down to who's the most rural.
Right, and it kind of goes back to like, I guess, prioritization too. Like, is that kind of what you're thinking of? Are you thinking more of like prioritization?
No, what I'm thinking is and we're not having issues at the moment with meeting everyone's home delivered meal capacity at senior centers. All our senior centers are able to make the home delivered meals that they need.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking just not having our senior centers that are in those rural areas do home delivered meal assessments.
I see what you're saying.
Okay.
That's kind of a different
Yeah.
issue.
We're able to meet
okay.
everyone's needs with providing a home delivered meal. It's the paperwork part of it with the senior centers when
Okay.
everyone does qualify.
Okay. Oh, okay. So basically you're just okay. Okay, I get what you're saying now. I see what you're saying.
And maybe this could be, I don't know, I might be the only situation here, so I don't want to take up everyone else's time.
Well, they would still, okay, so if they're basically, you're thinking about in a rural setting, right?
Mhm.
Let's say in somewhere where it's 20 miles per each town. You have maybe someone who, are you saying like lives within the town or lives within somewhere in the country there? Basically, you're saying that they wouldn't have to fill out a home delivered meal portion of the intake form because they would already qualify?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I guess it would depend because, I mean, the home delivered meal portion can contain, like with your form on there, it can contain information on the use of or the reason why they would need to have a home delivered meal.
Yes.
So,
Part
I
of
mean,
the question
yeah.
is, does participant reside in a rural area?
Okay.
That's
Well,
on our home delivered meal assessment, and
okay.
practically everyone checks yes on it.
I see. Well, you could, I mean, if you really wanted to, that part doesn't necessarily matter if you, I mean, you could take that off your assessment if you wanted to, because yes, they all have that in common. But what it's mostly asking about is like, can you make it to a senior center? Can you prepare food for yourself? Can you go shopping? Those types of things. Those are more important for the home delivered meal assessment for the necessity of the home delivered meal rather than do you live in a rural area? Like anybody 60 and over technically would qualify for a home delivered meal. Technically. It's finding out why a home delivered meal would be necessary for them and easy for them to get rather than a congregate meal. Can't drive to the center because I can't drive. I don't have a car. I can't go shopping. I can't prepare food at home. I'm depending on that meal to come to me to be my source of that one meal a day that I may have, or maybe have, 2 or 3 or whatever. This is my sole source that I get that day. That still is part of the backbone of the home delivered meal assessment. And that then can play into prioritization because if you think about it, if they're checking like, no, I go out and shop all the time. I do all these things, and sometimes I order out food. Sometimes I go down to the congregate meal center, but I still want to get a home delivered meal. You could then say, well, with prioritization, you could probably go to the congregate meal center here because we can only deliver to so many people in these areas. That's when you can start thinking about prioritization. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're looking for? Okay.
Okay.
Because they're all going to be rural. I mean, in that area, especially with one of our PIs with the definition of rural versus urban, especially in the Northeast area, it's all rural, and that's so you could even probably just eliminate that question. It's not gonna make a difference, but it's just rather finding the necessity of why they need to have that meal, because this person they can't go shopping, they get everything sent to them. Their car doesn't work or they can't drive,
Mhm.
etc. That's why they need to have the meal once per day, and they live alone. That home delivered meal driver comes in, gives them the meal, checks on them, you know, hey John, how you doing? How's everything doing? Oh, you know, it's doing good, whatever. Thanks for checking on me and thank you for the meal. That's what we're looking for with prioritization.
Okay.
So
Yep.
yeah, those are great questions. That's a great question, Kayla. Thank you so much for bringing it up. That is a good question. So very, very good. Awesome. Well, does anybody have any questions for Kayla? All right. I thought I had another question in my head, but I can't quite remember. I don't think I can remember. Anyways, well, if you have any questions about farmers market stuff, you know, let me know. I think everything was been really good so far. No issues. So, oh, and then I did send everyone that sheet, that Excel sheet that had markets and stuff on it
Who
from.
created that sheet, Eric?
So I believe that one. What? You're smiling. What's going on?
Well, it was very hard to sort. And
Oh yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I did. So
It's,
then
it's
I
not,
Googled
it's,
it, and then I broke it all apart, and
yeah.
Yeah, that was sent to me. Well, Nolan sent me the sheet. You know, I just Nolan sent me the sheet. You know, he was very nice about it. He sent me the sheet, and he's like, what do you want to have in it? And I think he built. Yeah, I think he built it. So I just got it from Ag, but
that's okay.
yeah,
I was like, whoa.
it's a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
I tried looking at it too, and I'm like going, okay.
yeah. There's a
So
lot
it
of
was really-
information.
it just was out of kilter there a little bit. So
Yeah, he put a lot
we'll
of
just add
information
that to
there.
our list for
Well,
next
if
year.
anybody would like the broken up version, I have it.
Oh,
That's nice of you, Rachel.
that was nice of you, Ray. Thank you very
Is
much.
that broken out by area agencies on aging?
No. Thank goodness. No, but you can search by county. You can search by
Oh, wow.
address.
Nice. Are you like an Excel
No,
pro
no,
or you
but,
just
but YouTube is amazing.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Hey, that's great. Thank you.
It was a lot easier to watch a Google video and figure it out. I mean, I was just like going cross-eyed. Can't do this.
Oh man.
But
To
it was
be
so
honest,
great.
Don't laugh. We
when I
highlighted
when I
ours.
need to look for ones, though, to be honest, I just go to the Department of Ag website
Yeah.
and then I pray that it's updated.
Yeah, they've done some stuff to it, but not a whole lot. I don't know. They've moved some stuff around in it, but I'm gonna keep looking at it. So
We
No,
highlighted our area on it and saved it onto the computer. So it was a pain, but most of the people know. But it was just that was the easiest for us.
yeah, and well, hopefully, there's been some give and take here with this year. At least we got them out. We were able to get them this year. Do you remember it was last year at this time? We still didn't have them.
Yes.
Yep.
What a
I
nightmare that was. It was, yeah. I think it was, we finally
The
got
year
them out
before that, we didn't get them until July.
or something. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, so we've had issues, a lot of issues, but we got them early this year, so that was good. That's good. All right. Well, I can't believe the next meeting we have of this is gonna be in July. That's crazy. So time just moves so fast. All right. Well, thank you everyone so much. Any other questions for anybody else or for me? All right. But you guys have a good rest of your week. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Have
you.
Stay cool. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.